some old audio from the 90s of Hebrew Israelite camps. In fact, Tahar is going to make a cameo in this in relationship to 2000. After I play it, we're going to bring up Faithful to God and close out the 90s with the false prophecy of 2000.
God is going to send his decree in these last days, and that is to totally annihilate America. America will be blown off the face of the earth by the year 2000. It's talking about Judgment Day.
And Christ is coming back on the white horse. And he's coming back. And he's going to take down the white man, the Edomites. That's why your Pope is down in the ground. It's going to happen by the year 2000.
Dude smiles.
You really?
That's it, yeah.
These places that's going to be hit in this thermonuclear war is America. America's going to be wiped off the face of the planet Earth. That's going to take place before the year 2000.
That's right.
That's going to take place before the year 2000.
That's right.
That's going to take place before the year 2000.
That's right.
America has less than 628 days. America has less than 628 days.
That's Tahar.
America has less than 628 days before this country is taken out in thermonuclear destruction.
This kingdom, America, is going to be destroyed before the year 2000.
Evil kingdom that God spoke of in the Bible. And all you so-called white people, your condemnation, you are condemned to what? Hell. And you're going to be in hell, you're going to be oppressed before the year 2000. Christ is going to come back.
Museum America is going to be destroyed before the year 2000 by thermonuclear destruction.
Let's talk to the creator of the video, my main man, Faithful to God, laboring faithfully. What's up with you, man? Welcome to the Dividing Line with Vocab and Chadash. How you doing, man?
What's going on, man? I love everything that I'm hearing right now, man. So much information about the history and everything, and you know, as the people heard out there, you know, the craziness that was going on in the, you know, original school.
True that, true that. Well, Faithful, you've been laboring faithfully in this area for a minute, and I want to give you some time here at the end as we close out the fractured 90s to discuss this year 2000 prophecy. And I believe I saw Tahar making a cameo there, right? He was the one with the 628 days or whatever. Is that right?
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that was probably around the time that he was with House of David Church.
All right, so tell us about this prophecy, because it's kind of been downplayed a little bit here.
Yeah, you know, basically, starting somewhere in 1989, I guess the original school, specifically Ahrayah, came up with this notion from a faulty breakdown that he, I guess, conjectured from Hosea,
right?
The 6th chapter, in the 2nd verse, where it talks about the 2 days and the 3rd day.
Yeah.
And
let me pause it real quick. Everybody pause it. This is significant because Ahrayah is the same one who constructed the 12 tribes chart that is preached faithfully, as well as the pure tongue. And so this is significant.
The so-called pure tongue.
Yes, this is very significant. Continue on.
Right. So basically, if I'm not mistaken, he tied that together with the verse in Peter where it talks about a day is like 1,000 years for the Lord, and then Christ's words where he essentially states that he cut the days short in order for the saints.
Right.
And that's where he came up with his faulty understanding, and basically used that to springboard this false doctrine onto the school, and everybody was essentially forced to teach it.
Right.
It didn't matter who it was. And, you know, I'm going to say this right now. It doesn't matter if it was Yohana, Nathaniel, Tahar, as we've seen, and whoever else. All the people in that school taught that.
Right.
Without exception. That was something that was mandated, and it just goes to show the lack of discernment, as the brother Chadash was explaining.
Right.
You know, there was just a general lack of discernment in the school, and it manifested itself in a false prophecy, you know?
What else you want to say about this prophecy? I got some more clips here I can play in a minute. You want to say anything else about it and its significance before I play this next clip?
Vocab, you need to go full screen on that.
Gabar from GOCC, if I'm not mistaken, and 2 elders from the original school. I don't remember their names off the top of the head right now, but they do show up in the title of the video. And, yeah, they pretty much let it be known that this was Ahrayah's doctrine, and he forced it on the school.
All right, well, let's play this next part, see what they say up in here. This is an audio excerpt from a debate called "Is the 12 Tribe Chart Relevant?"
Reaching out to different churches and things of that nature. But before I did, I started examining everything. You know, all the doctrine that I learned, and the brother would write about. Ahrayah was one of the pioneers to bring out that Christ is coming before the year 2000, and the understanding of that came from Isaiah, the 6th chapter. That after 2 days I will restore you, and after the third day you'll live in my sight. So he figured that the third day is after the year 2000. So that they kind of came with that understanding.
So that was Gabar, right there, talking about it. And Gabar, for those who don't know, is with GOCC now, and someone that I've been able to speak with frequently. And actually, Gabar's another man that I have a lot of respect for. I've enjoyed conversation and dialogue. He's really knowledgeable, man, and pretty forthright about stuff. So kind of shout out to Gabar. What's this next section we got going on here?
Now, this next section should be the two elders from the original school.
Yeah.
I believe their names are
Ahrayah
and Parayam.
Okay, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
All right, let's play this joint.
Mispronouncing those.
Good job putting this video together, by the way. Faithful to God. All right, here we go.
Preach the year 2000 prophecy, that Christ is going to return in the year 2000?
All of us. That was sanctioned by Ahrayah. You teach us on the street. And 34th Street camp. I was in 34th Street camp, right in front of the bank. What's the name of the bank now? The name of the bank? Citibank. I was out there teaching that for almost 10 years, from 1989 to 1999. I was teaching that.
Oh wow!
And I was ordered. I was ordered to teach that. If I wasn't teaching that, they'll kick me out.
Excuse me.
You want to comment on this?
It's just that's 100% accurate. You used to have what you called camp class, where they drilled exactly what was to be taught at the camp. Only higher ranking teachers could kind of freestyle out there on the street. Everybody else had they had a pitch, and so what you heard was always rehearsred and authorized. Okay. Out there on the street. So that is 100% accurate. That was one of the, if you want to call it, dogmas of the Hebrew Israelite teaching was Y2K.
Okay.
And as we'll see at the end of this, basically this was enforced on everybody in the school. This was pretty much a dogma, as the brother was saying. This was something that they had to basically teach, or they could leave the school, and that's pretty much what it boiled down to. Either obey that teaching, go out there, preach it, or you can just see your way out. So.
Right. There's some more audio we want to play here.
But even in the late 80s, they were teaching about Christ coming back in the year 2000.
Yeah, they were teaching that. When I came in, they were teaching that. 1989, they was teaching that.
If you were among those who preached that,
1989.
Yeah, that's wow. That's back, man. All right, is there some more audio you think I should play for this, or is it mainly the text at that point?
No, that's pretty much it, and I think that says it all.
Right.
And pretty much the reason why I put the video together is because I wanted to get some of these people, some of the younger dudes that are caught up in some of these camps like GMS or Israel United in Christ, or whether it be the new ISCPK, that's Johannes camp.
Right.
These different guys who might not know about this, to kind of give them an insight into what's going on, or what went on, I should say, back then. And this should really make them think.
Right.
I mean, their elders were out there, teaching this doctrine with no discernment whatsoever. I mean, where is, it's almost as if they embody what 1 Corinthians 2:14 states. For the natural man receives not the things of the Spirit, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can they understand them, because they are spiritually discerned. Now, they would assert that that's what we're doing with, talking about these things.
Right.
But think about it. This was Ahrayah, a natural man with no spiritual discernment, coming up with these so-called breakdowns, telling people Christ is going to return, and yet, I mean, in the Bible, Christ himself states that no one knows the hour except for the Father. How could they possibly think to go against Christ's own word and exalt Ahrayah?
Right.
I'll say this too. Two things on that, if I may. There's a population out there that has not completely let go of this prophecy either. If you realize that, you'll catch some of them saying that the white man played with the dates. The calendar is off by some. The 400 years of Israel's captivity has to be fulfilled, which began in 1619.
Yeah, so let me, real quick, let me just interject for a second. So 1619, when you jump into Jamestown, Virginia, is when it seems you might be able to consider the beginning of the transatlantic slave trade in some way, as far as coming to what they would call the House of Bondage, United States of America, sort of this new Egypt or Babylon. Not really sure is U.S. Babylon or Egypt. I guess it's both. But anyways, 1619 is when you see the beginning of that. And so, what's 400 years of captivity, everybody? 2019.
2019.
And so that's where you see there's still that apocalyptic strand. However, I do hear the predictions being made a little more tentative. And it'll be interesting to see what happens if you don't see, when you probably see the failure again. I wonder if they're going to say, well, there's other places in the text where it says 430 years. You know what I'm saying?
I kind of anticipate that too.
Yeah.
Then the Abraham thing, the Egyptian thing, that'll apply to the Egyptian captivity again, but it will be sort of a secondary fulfillment, a reoccurring fulfillment.
Right.
Because right now they try to say that 400 years has nothing to do with the Egyptian captivity. Yeah. And if I can just throw one more thing, the impact. That's something we haven't talked about, is how a lot of these doctrines impacted people.
Right.
Whether or not the leaders of this movement 100% believe these things or not, I can't say. I have my doubts. But the average layperson certainly believed it. And so, like I said, one thing we haven't talked about is how this has impacted a lot of people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of brothers that were working menial jobs and doing things like investing in education or, just making any kind of moves for themselves financially, academically, trade skills and things like that, because, hey, this thing was about to wrap up and we were about to be out of here, and then we were going to inherit all of America's riches on the way back to, the New Jerusalem anyway. And so it's funny, like after 2000, all of a sudden you saw a lot of brothers starting to go back to school again.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to step forward and make some progress for themselves.
Well, maybe that's the best thing that came out of that failed prophecy is more guys getting in trade school.